Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC and how much I think everything is going to cost in this update. Now, I did this video for part 1 of the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC, and you guys absolutely loved it. It's one of the best videos I think I've ever done, so I'm going to be doing it in part 2, and I'm going to be telling you guys what I think each item is going to cost, and overall how much money you're going to need to save up in order to afford everything in this update. So let's start with the vehicles, and I'm going to start with what I think is going to be one of the most expensive ones, and that is the Progen T20. I believe it's modeled after the McLaren, so I can only expect that this is going to be a fairly expensive vehicle. Now, if we compare it to the most recent supercar, that being the Pegassi Osiris, which is in the ballpark of $2 million, it wouldn't be, overly crazy to assume that this Progen T20 could be anywhere from $1.5 to $2 million. I think that's absolutely insane. But if it is a fast supercar, it might be worth the price tag, or it could be under the range of, closer to the Adder at $1 million, or even the Zentorno at $750,000. But honestly, I think that because the Osiris was around $2 million, I'm going to say that the Progen T20 is going to be from anywhere from $1.5 million to $2 million. So up next, let's talk about the Coil Brawler, and honestly, I have no clue where to price this vehicle. It's like this hybrid supercar off-road. It looks absolutely incredible. I can't wait to get my hands on this vehicle. I think it's going to be an off-road vehicle, but it's made by Coil. So for the prices, I compared it to the Voltic, which is $150,000, and I could see it in that price range, but it also kind of reminds me of the BF Injector. It's kind of got that off-road feel to it, which is a slightly cheaper $16,000. So I don't know where to price this vehicle, but because it is part of the Ill-Gotten Gains, which is a more expensive theme, and this car certainly looks a little bit more expensive, I'm going to say that this is going to be closer to $200,000 to $400,000, just because it looks like it has a lot of great upgrades, and it looks like a menacing, fast off-road vehicle. So $200,000 to $400,000 for the Coil Brawler. Up next, let's talk about the Intruder Okok Blackfin, and really the only other car I'm basing this off of is the regular Intruder Okok Classic, which is $665,000, about $700,000 if you round up, which is pretty expensive for a sports classic car. Now, the modern version of the Okok is actually a lot less expensive. It's under $200,000, but since this looks to be one of the classic models, I can imagine it being more expensive. I'm going to say anywhere from $800,000 to, let's just say, $1 million for this vehicle, because it does look like it's a special model, and you guys know how Rockstar prices their special models. They really jack up the price for certain features or rarity, even if it is in real life. So I think it's going to be $800,000 to $1 million, which is pretty pricey for a sports classic. Now, let's move on to the Vapid Chino, and I actually had a hard time comparing the price of the Vapid Chino to a lot of the other vehicles in the game, but I really stuck to two of them. One of them was the Albany Virgo, which was added in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, and that was just under $200,000 in price, one of the least expensive vehicles in that update, and I also compared it to the Vapid Blade, since it was in the same family. They tend to be the same, like, muscle car-ish sports classic-y category. So if I had to take a guess, I'm just going to throw a ballpark guess and say that the Vapid Chino, because it does look like it has some cool customization with the Los Santos Customs plaque, is going to be around $200,000. Moving on to the one motorcycle added with this update, the Dinka Vindicator, and I don't know what to think of this bike. I don't know if it's going to be fast, I don't know if it's going to be powerful, I don't know if it's going to be a show bike, but it is in the Dinka family, and out of all the DLC bikes that have been added so far, they have been on the pricier side, whether that's the Sovereign or the Hakachu. So I'm going to say that this is close to $100,000, because they do say luxury, which typically you would jack up the price for luxury, meets raw power. So for this bike, the Dinka Vindicator, I'm going to say that it comes in at a steep $100,000. And for our last vehicle, let's talk about the Lampadetti Toro, which is one that I am least excited about, honestly, because it's a boat. Can't tell you really how often I ever use boats in Grand Theft Auto Online, But the boats are kind of pricey. Like, dang, I didn't even know that when I was checking the prices before I made this video. These are some expensive little water floaties, I'm not gonna lie. So I can easily see the Lampadetti Toro being $200 to $300 to even $400,000, maybe even close to $500,000, because you have to remember that Lampadetti brand, which is Maserati in real life. So I'm gonna say that the Lampadetti Toro is gonna be $300,000 to $500,000, pretty expensive for a watercraft. Now let's talk about the weapons. There's two of them that are going to be adding the Knuckle Duster and also the Marksman Pistol. Starting with the Knuckle Duster, I can't see this being too expensive. Brass knuckles are fairly cheap when you think of weapons, so I can't see them being more than a few $1,000s in the ammunition store. And the Marksman Pistol, pretty much the same. I know it looks to be an antique sort of weapon, like the single shot, extremely powerful, but I can see Rockstar maybe jacking that to like $45,000 or $50,000. So roughly, we're just going to add a couple $1,000s right there. And moving on to the clothing, I definitely underestimated from part 1 how expensive the clothing is going to be. So to buy all of it, I'm just going to roughly ballpark and say that it is going to cost you $1 million to buy all the clothing. So keep in mind, all these estimates don't include anything else you want to do to the vehicle. They literally just include the stock options. So that doesn't include, buying new ammo, buying upgrades, Los Santos custom shop editions, extra clothing items. So yeah, this could get pretty expensive. So let's do some calculations. So if we add everything up, that being the Progen T20, the Coil Brawler, the Intruder Okok Black Fin, the Vapid Chino, the new bike, the Dinka Vindicator, and all the new clothing options, weapons, including a new watercraft in the Lampadetti Toro, it looks like we're going to get close to $5 million. And that's just on the low end of what I think it's going to cost to own everything. I might be completely wrong. In fact, in my Ill-Gotten Gains DLC Part 1, I said that it was only going to cost $8 to $10 million, and that turned out to be, let's see, $20 to $24 million. So you might want to like double my estimations, because typically I price things a little lower than I think. So I'm going to guess anywhere from $5 to $10 million is what you're going to need to safely buy everything in this DLC. Weapons, clothing, accessories, and a whole lot more. So anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below on what you think everything is going to cost in the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC Part 2. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Once again, if you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would be awesome. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Grand Theft Auto 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.